And that is us live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the MMA UK live podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the upcoming UFC card, UFC Fight Night, which is going to be headlined by Darren Till and Derrick Brunson. A pretty big card, and also a pretty big card for us because there's quite a lot of UK fighters on that one. And we're going to try and have a chat about those tonight. Guys, if you do like this video, please like, share, show us some love because it really does go a long way for us doing this, and we really appreciate it. And we're going to run down through the British fighters on the card coming up on this weekend in Las Vegas at the UFC Apex. As always, I'm joined by some of my good friends. First one, the beautiful Katie Hunter. Katie,
hey.
It's been a few months since we did one of these. How have you been?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm good, Katie. I'm eager to talk about some of these fights, and to be honest, even more excited to watch them on Saturday because, like I said, it's a big card for UK, and I'm sure we're all feeling the same.
Yeah, the only sad thing is it was supposed to be in London and supposed to be with fans, so it's obviously absolutely gutting for us all that we can't see these guys live. But you know, it's great to have these fights at the weekend and on at a great time for us as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest with you, I was choosing to ignore the fact that it was cancelled from London, Katie. So I'm glad you brought it up now. Because I can remember when that first got announced, I was like, I had this feeling, I don't think it's gonna come off with everything. The timing with lockdowns is just a bit off. But yeah, I was just as gutted as you are. But there we are. I don't want to talk too long before introducing our other panelists for this evening. I won't call him beautiful, but when it comes to talking about MMA, he knows his stuff. Glenn Williams, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, Lou, all the better for seeing you, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Glenn. And the same to you, Glenn, to be honest. We meant to have you on, I think, a few months back, and it didn't come off. So good to have you back on tonight. Obviously, we're down our other friend, Chris Emmanuel. Not feeling very well, so get well soon to Chris. And,
get well soon, Chris.
Yeah, we'll crack on without him. Hopefully he's watching, and we'll see him very soon.
I just had my 2 pence in about it being cancelled from London. In hindsight, I'm glad it was cancelled as it was. Imagine it being cancelled fight week. Imagine this week, and I was thinking, all right, it's got to go back to New York. We would have been in the whole world of pain. We've been devastated.
Yeah, you're right. So and when it happened last time, I think it was March or February in 2020.
March, yeah.
I was booked up to go. I had a hotel ready. I think we were gonna watch Cage Warriors the same on the Friday, UFC on Saturday. I think there was even a Polaris on the Sunday I was planning to go watch. And the whole thing got cancelled. And yeah, you're right. That was probably the hardest one to take. So wisdom there from Glenn.
Then Cage Warriors went to Manchester. Loads of people was fighting on Cage Warriors from UFC. Then they wasn't. Then the old palaver started, wasn't it? So yeah, I'm glad it was sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that's a little throwback to the madness that was last year in MMA and in general, I think. But there we go. We've got some big fights now anyway. Wherever it is, as Katie said, it's on a good time for us. And we'll enjoy it nonetheless. So if it's okay with you guys, I'll get straight into some of these fights. We've got some really good ones lined up for us. Obviously, we'll start off at the top of the bill. Derrick Brunson versus Darren Till. Absolutely massive fight in the middleweight division, really. Two guys who are very popular. Very good as well. I mean, Katie, I'll come to you first on this one. As a main event, what do you think?
It's tough to know how this one will go. I've seen a lot online about people saying it depends on whether Derrick Brunson can get him down or if Till can keep it on the feet and knock him out. But I think people are underestimating Till a bit. I think, he tends to have good game plans for these type of fights. And the Wonder Boy Thompson fight, he had a good game plan. The Kelvin Gastelum fight, I mean, it's not necessarily the most exciting to watch, but it's, he gets it right. And I think in the Whittaker fight, that was razor close. And it turned out afterwards that he had that injured knee and he wanted more output from himself, but he was really struggling to move around. So I honestly think that he's got a better chance than everything I'm seeing online. And there's a lot on the line for him here because Adesanya wants to fight him. He's a huge personality in that division. I think the UFC wants to push him again. and he probably is only this fight away from a title shot. If not, then one more. But he's right in there, and we know he's taking it seriously. He's moved out from living with his girlfriend and baby to he wants to put himself through hardship to kind of really embrace the grind and really want it and really be hungry for it. And the only thing I worry about with those guys, all of them at Team Cowbon, is they train so hard. I mean, I'm not sure if it was you, Glenn, that said he'd pulled out of his last 3 fights, I think. And who knows if he knows he can't pull out of this one. I wonder how healthy he is. I just hope it's the best Darren Till that's going to turn up on the night. And if it is, then I'm fully behind him. I think he'll get it, whether it's a decision or a stoppage. But I just hope that he's healthy.
Yeah, I think one thing you touched on there, Katie, was in terms of the sort of technical side of this fight. People's been saying this, kind of that the kind of the old adage, if Derrick gets him down, it's going to be a long night for Darren. If Derrick can't get him down, Darren probably has a slight advantage with his accuracy on the feet. Obviously, these are the things that we're very interested to see on Saturday. I mean, Glenn, what's your sort of take? Do you think Darren does sort of manage to find his way to his feet, or is it a case that you think Derrick's wrestling will be a bit too much for him on the night?
I think it's this. Takedown defense is going to be tested first round. After the first round, I don't think Brunson's going to be explosive enough to even get into the mat. Never mind, stopping getting back up. Because Brunson, for me, the first half of the first round, he's he expends too much energy, and then he ain't that explosive in the rest. But I think Till is going into this fight with a lot of pressure. And that being his last 4 fights, he's won 1. And that was a split decision against Kelvin Gastelum. So he needs, like you said, it's mental. He's 1-3 in his last 4 fights, and he's still being spoke about in a title shot. Yeah. So and he knows a good performance. He will. Well, I don't think he'll get a title shot next, because I think Bobby Knuckles is next. But it will happen if he puts him away in style. If he don't, where does he go from there? If he loses to Brunson, where does he go? So I think, even though he's as big as character as he is and he's a big draw, I think there's a lot of pressure on him. Brunson's on a 4-fight win streak. And the last person he lost to was Izzy.
Yeah. That's something I was going to touch on as well, because
don't think Till's going into this knowing he can walk all over him. He knows a loss here, and it puts him back, right back, way back in peg, but a big win. And I think he gets it. I think he knocks him out in the second round because he needs to.
I want to throw that back to you, Katie, because obviously we see in these fights, how big factor momentum is for fighters. They get a win, they tend to go on a run, they take a loss, they tend to take a few losses. How much of a factor do you think that play sort of mentally for both guys? Like you said, I know even Glenn said about Brunson's sort of explosiveness and his energy, but I mean, the last couple of fights, he seemed to be a different fighter. He got a lot of takedowns round after round in his last matchup, where he was the main event there. He's at a new gym, and I think he's riding the crest of wave at the moment, isn't he?
He is, and I think Glenn's totally right about the pressure all being on Darren Till. And because Brunson has lost to Izzy recently, I don't even think if he won in style, I don't even think he's being spoken about for in title contention yet. So the pressure's definitely all on Till. The reason I think he could be next for the title is because Whittaker's not going to fight outside of Australia. He's just had a new baby. He's been really forthcoming about the fact that he's got no interest in doing the crazy isolation that those guys have to do to fight anywhere else. And it doesn't look like Australia and New Zealand are going to open up anytime soon for a UFC event. So if Izzy decides that he'll fight somebody else, that does leave the door open. But that Till is, on paper, shouldn't be up there. But I think he'll be looking back on that fight with Whittaker and thinking he was so close to having that. I had him winning it on the scorecards. It was razor close. And he did have that knee injury from the kick that Whittaker threw that really immobilized him for a lot of the later rounds. So I don't know. I think he's going to be confident. Sorry?
Where is he? Is he in New Zealand now?
He's in New Zealand, and Whittaker's in Australia, and they were talking about having the fight there, but they're both, locked out. Obviously, they can come out, and they have to go through that mad isolation period. I mean, there was pictures of Dan Hooker. I don't think he got home to his family for like 2 months after he fought.
It was crazy, and you could see why they wouldn't want to do it as well, to be honest with you.
100%. I don't blame them at all.
People was applauding them for letting people carry on, but I think there was delaying the inevitable. All this is going to come now when they go 1 or 2 cases in now, and they locked all the pubs and everything. So God knows what. Yeah, but I can't see Izzy. I can't see until I think his next fight will be in New Zealand. I think he'll take it back there.
He said he doesn't want to fight unless it's in New Zealand.
Yeah, so I think we can forget about him for a while then.
Yeah, perhaps they do an interim belt.
Interim.
Yeah. With Jared Cannon. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That makes sense.
That could be good.
That makes sense. Yeah. Bring it back to London.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options for both guys, and it's a lot of options on the table for the winner, I should say. I mean, I feel like the loser does start to creep back down the rankings and look to fight guys behind, whereas the winner, like you said, a possible matchup or a number 1 contender spot, or even an interim fight with Cannonier. So it's a lot on the table for this one.
Off the top of my head, I haven't written this down. I should have looked. How many in the top 10 haven't he fought? It'll be Till, Cannonier. I can't think.
But he's cleared out all
not many.
Yeah.
There's not many, is there? So the only 2. Would he rather wait and fight them both each? Or if they have an interim, then he's only going to fight one of them, isn't he? So,
yeah.
It depends how long the UFC will let. If he does refuse to fight outside New Zealand, it depends how long the UFC would let him not fight for before they create an interim belt, I guess. I've got a feeling they'll be able to tempt him out. Like, he'll have a price, I'm sure. And if they want to put it on, then they will. But we've got a few viewer comments. Stoomboy reckons Till by KO in round 2. And Miles says razor close Brunson split decision. That's a good two
good predictions there. So I'm going to come round. I'm going to give my prediction first because I sometimes I get accused of sitting on the fence a little bit. So for this one for me, do you know what? I'm going to, on paper, my head tells me Brunson's going to do it. Just the momentum he's got, the way he's been fighting lately with the 4 wins, looking a lot better and a lot less kind of I don't know, a lot less chaotic in there, I'd say. He did have that habit of just charging forward. Obviously, that's when we get clipped and knocked out by Bobby Knuckles. But I feel like now he's maybe addressed those issues a little bit. So I feel on paper he is the favourite, and rightly so. But my heart is saying Darren Till. I don't know why. I just got a feeling as soon as Brunson gets hit by a clean strike, he's going to revert to the old Brunson. And I think at that point, the clean strike and the accuracy of Till is going to either allow him to stop the fight with a TKO or, get a couple of 10-8s and win the round and win the fight that way. So for me, it's a close fight, razor close, as Miles said, but I'm going to go Darren Till. Katie, what's your prediction for this one?
I'm going Darren Till as well.
Oh, I'm going to call something. If Miles is right, then it does go to split decision. Darren has got to change his name to Darren Split Decision Till. Because he's had a few of them, and but I'm gonna actually call for Till to be caught in the first round by a Westway shot and then come back and smoke him, take your second round. So I think he'll get caught by a wild just haymaker, panicking on the way in, I think.
Yeah, so we got a clean sweep there for Darren Till. I guess we're not biased at all, guys.
Okay.
One more coming through. Kai Evans said Brunson Borefest.
Let die bang. If I don't say let die bang, Kai wouldn't be happy with me.
Brunson's not a Borefest, Kai. How dare you? So that takes us to the co-main event then, and another British fighter here. We've got a heavyweight matchup: Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Spivak. Glenn, I'll come to you on this one first. What's your thoughts on these two guys?
I'm going to get so much stick for what I'm about to say about Tom now, right? Because people are going to go, no way, no way, no way. Remember a few weeks ago when Dana White was saying that Cyril Gane was the new breed of heavyweight and he's light on his feet, he can dance, he can dance. Yeah. I've been saying that about Tom Aspinall for way before he went to the UFC. That guy doesn't move like an heavyweight. And he can wrestle, and he got a BJJ black belt. So you all add all that together, and I think he is part of this new breed with Cyril Gane. Don't think he's Cyril Gane's level quite yet, but he's going to be. That being said, I think he was meant to fight Sergey Pavlovich, but he's changed to Sergey. Not I can say any of them names properly. But yeah, the new Sergey, anyway, I think it could be a potential banana skin. It's still a tough fight. He's ranked 2 behind Tom. I think he's ranked 14 and Tom's 12, something like that. But I think Tom is going to be way too much. He does like throw quite unorthodox now and again. He's not tight and crisp, which Tom is. But obviously he could get clipped. I think Tom is just going to be way too much for him. Like, oh, I got it down there. Yeah, the other Sergey would have been a tougher fight for him. But yeah, I haven't got really much more to say than that. Where does Tom go after this fight? I'd love to see Tom fight. I know he's out the rankings. Tai Tuivasa. That'd be a slugfest. I'd love to see that fight.
That's actually a great matchup. And both have guys as well.
Yeah, and one of them notices boxer and a brawler, isn't it? Tom will be moving and Tai will be walking him down trying to slug him. Be brilliant. I'd love to see that. Yeah. But yeah, and I think he's. After this, he needs a fighter right up on top of rankings to take a scalp because he's at a few now, just around this level. Arlovski was about the same level as him, so I think he could do a scalp after this, and I think he gets it. I think he finishes this in style as well, round 2.
Fair play, good prediction, Glenn. Katie, what's your take? I know you've watched Tom a little bit as well, same as we all have. Did you see him doing the business on Saturday?
I do, and I think he's more well-rounded and kind of better in every area individually as well. But I actually don't mind these type of matchups for him at the moment. I don't think he's had that many fights and he doesn't get that much cage time. And I feel like because it's quite a shallow division, it'd be so easy for him to get rushed and thrown in with the Sharks straight away. And especially the way that he's already started climbing the rankings and the, like the performances he's put on, he easily could get chucked in there. And I don't want to see him rushed. So I don't mind. I think that this will be like a perfect stage for him to show off on Saturday. And I really don't mind him having one more fight at this level or a couple more around this. Get a bit more cage time, get as much experience as he can before he's chucked it. Because you look up the rankings and who are we looking at there? Like, So, and it's not that I don't think he can do it because I do think he's capable, but it's really hard. Even before he got to the UFC, it's really hard for heavyweights to get fights. He's not got as many as he would have liked to have had under his belt by now.
Yeah, I think he's got a record of 10-2. So, I mean, 12 fights, I think he's like, just hovering outside the top 10 at the moment. So, yeah, I think you both make really good points about that, to be honest. And I tend to agree more with you, Katie. I think the more fights he can have, the better he's going to get. He's looked brilliant so far. There's a lot of good guys above him, though. And I think when you get to those high levels, with 12 fights against, coming into any of the guys in the top 10, it's a big ask and it's a big step as well. So I agree with you. I think he definitely wins this first and foremost. He's looked absolutely brilliant his last few fights, and as Glenn said, he really does seem to be like one of those new breed guys who just does it all. You could imagine him playing any sport, Glenn, couldn't you? He's so big and athletic. If you put him on the rugby pitch, he'd be good. If you put him in wrestling, boxing, he'd be good at everything. So
Katie just put something in my head now. You're on about cage time. That's a very good point. It's hard for heavyweights to get much game time, but I wonder when the time comes when his first 5-round fight will be, because he's going to heavyweight. He keeps climbing. He's going to end up headlining a fight night somewhere. He's going to end up in a 5-round fight, just like Cyril Gane was. But I wonder how much cage time he's going to build before then.
Yeah.
Because it all adds to it.
He has massively started working on his nutrition and his strength and conditioning, and you can see his body composition from when he first got to the UFC, and he's pretty honest about how much crap he was eating beforehand to what he eats now, and he knows that to step it up every time and the levels he's got to go up, he's got to have everything on point. So yeah, I definitely think he's heading in the right direction. I'd be more confident of him in a 5-round fight now than I would have in his early UFC days.
It must have been so hard for him to get a fight outside the UFC, because in Cage Warriors, there's a few heavyweights you spoke to that was offered that fight and turned it down. Because he's a problem. Am I right in thinking he took a while out of MMA to work on his boxing, to go pro boxing as well? Or did he fight MMA after being a pro boxer or something like that, wasn't it?
I can't remember, to be honest. I know he's got a lot of boxing experience, but I don't know really the order. Like I said, I've only sort of picked him up since his Cage Warriors days, and that's when we've started watching him really and following him from there. But I mean, like I said, he's definitely got that skill behind him either way, and I think it serves him very, very well in that division. So for me, I don't know. I'm going to go with Tom Aspinall knockout. I can't. Obviously, it's MMA. Anything can happen. But if you're asking for a prediction, I can't predict it any other way, really. What about you, Glenn? You going for the finish or?
Yeah, I am. But I don't know how. Someone's telling me he's going to sub him. I don't know if it's sub him off a drop or a lazy shot. I don't know, but someone's telling me he's going to sub him.
There you go. And
yeah, definitely win.
I'm going to go for a round 2 stoppage. I'm not sure whether it's going to be a TKO or a sub. I could totally see him kind of ground and pounding him and then him just giving up his neck or something like that. Miles agrees with us. He's got Tom's 2nd round TKO, and Kai Evans said Aspinall's legit, and he said you're spot on, Sledge. Awesome fight. And he's got Aspinall by sub also.
I mean, he's a black belt, right? So
Jiu-Jitsu's top class.
There you go. Yeah, so that's obviously the co-main event there, and two training partners as well. I know, Glenn, this was something I did want to mention to you, because obviously you've been on fight cards, in Wales with your teammates. Does it have an effect? Your teammate goes out there and absolutely smashes someone. You're then coming out your Darren Till after, or vice versa. Does that have an effect on you to see your teammates doing well or doing bad?
And I don't usually watch them. I usually stay in the back on my own. So if they smash someone, I don't know till the morning when I watch it back. So yeah, I don't really know. You can tell the crowd and if the coaches are happy or whatever, but you don't usually know. Like if it's a couple lower down the card and I haven't got change, then I go and watch. But usually a couple of boys will be quite close together, so I don't tend to watch them, and I tend to watch it back. Like, but yeah, it's I bet it's hard for Tom, because he's always that guy. He's always been that guy that trains with Darren Till, isn't he?
Yeah.
They forget how good he is. Like, I don't think he's got the sellability as Darren Till, or the fan base, but he's certainly got the skill.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and this is another thing. I know we're going back up the card here, but one thing about Darren Till, he's so funny on Twitter. I mean, he gets a bit close to the mark sometimes, but he's one of the best on Twitter, and that's why he's got such a great following. He's just, the guy's hilarious, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm just glad I haven't got a nose like Ariel Alvani, because he'd absolutely rinsed me otherwise, wouldn't he?
The other one I like was Karen Till as well, where it's him with a wig.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
That was one I like. He's 81 on Twitter, so like I said, you get points just for that, don't you, these days? And yeah, maybe Tom's got a little bit to learn off Darren in that sense, but as you said, Glenn, right, he's definitely got the skills to match. And
marketing, you only got to follow all the companies he's marketing. I bet he's making a fortune. The guy has clearly got an edge for the on Edford, social media and just building things up, like.
Yeah, definitely. There we are. So that is the co-main event: Tom Aspinall and Sergey Spivak. So another good fight and another great one for our UK audience. Now we got two fights in between this. One fight, sorry, we've got Alex Monroe versus David Zawada in the welterweights. Before we get one fight down to our next UK fighter, and that is a light heavyweight, Modestas Bukauskas, former Cage Warriors light heavyweight champion. He's going to be facing Khalil Roundtree Jr. Big fight for Modestas here, Katie. I know, we've both met Modesta, spoke to him. He's a lovely guy, great champion at Cage Warriors. What do you think for him with this matchup? It's a big one, right?
It's huge. It's huge. They're both coming off 2 losses, and it's, when I interviewed him, he was, very honest about the fact that it's not looking good for whoever loses this fight. But I think it's a great fight for him in that it's a big name that everyone knows, but I think it's really winnable. And you look back over the people they fought, and I will die on the hill that Modestas should have won that last fight. I think it was a really dodgy decision. It was a close fight, but I thought it was clear to Modestas. And Khalil Roundtree actually lost to the same guy by unanimous decision, but it was overturned because he later popped. So I know MMA maths doesn't always work like that, but I think that Modestas is younger, hungrier. He works so hard. He's faced adversity before. He's going to put everything into this. And I think I'm right in saying, I couldn't find it anywhere, but I think Khalil retired briefly after we watched him in Copenhagen, Lewis, and couldn't find anything on it. But he's obviously back. If it comes down to who wants it more, it's Modestas all day long. And he's been training hard. He couldn't do any more, honestly. He's put so much into it. I think it'll be a tough fight, but I think the decision will go in his favour this time. I think it's going to be a Modestas decision.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, with Modestas as well, that last fight was very, very close, right?
So close.
I didn't think it was a dodgy decision. I thought I can see why they gave it to his opponent. But that being said, I thought Modestas looked really good still. Especially in the first round, he's really athletic, puts his strikes together well, moves well. And if he'd won that fight, I definitely could make a case for that. So I think he will come into this fight with confidence, even though he's taken a loss last time out. He's young.
I love his attitude towards that though, because even he won't even comment on the decision. He's just it's a loss. I'm 2 losses in a row, and I need to his head is always in the right place, and he's got such a great attitude all the time. I feel it in my bones.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do agree with you what you said. I think if he can kind of get Khalil moving, hit him with the same shots he fought last time, he definitely has a good shot at winning this one. The only issue with Khalil is he's just so explosive and powerful,
some of those body kicks and stuff that he's got in his arsenal,
one misstep from a quick trip to the hospital. So that's my only sort of fear. But then, I mean, you're talking about the light heavyweights in the UFC, so I think that's probably the same across the board. And Modestas will be used to that; he'll be prepared for that. So for me as well, I'm going to go for a split decision win for Modestas in this one. I think it's going to be another razor close fight. Sorry, but this time I think Modestas he'll just get the preparation right and sort of tip the scales from taking a narrow defeat to a narrow victory this time. That's me. Glenn, have you got anything to add to this one?
No, I am. To be honest, I haven't really looked into much of Modi because I always let Katie do that one because she's a massive fan. But I haven't really looked into the Khalil now. Sorry. So
can we get a prediction though? You've seen them both fight.
I'm against them. Sorry. I think he's going to lose.
You going Khalil?
I think you get clipped. think you get clipped there, sorry. Sorry, Kate, don't hate me.
No, well,
again,
luckily everyone else disagrees with you. Kai says Moddy B's one tough guy. He sees a UD, and Miles sees a TKO late in the opening frame.
Yeah, no, I think it's a tough one to call, isn't it? It's always tough to call with Khalil Roundtree, but I do think I think Modestas gets this one done. I'm coming across as a completely biased MMA UK reporter here because I'm picking all the UK guys, but I do think, you got to be an optimist, and I do think Modestas gets this one done. So yeah, I guess that's 2-1.
I thought you picked Brunson.
No.
Oh,
I said on paper I picked Brunson, but I'm going to follow my heart on this one. I think Till can get the job done. So there we go.
I get it. I do want to go against Moddy, but I just think there's too much on the line, and I wouldn't write him out. If anything happens, he could stay and not come back. But unfortunately,
yeah. No, fair enough, Glenn. Appreciate your honesty, buddy. Katie Hunter's giving you the absolute death stare, but
I did tell you not to come to me for this one. I said leave it out for that reason only.
You got
because I can't lie. You got to tell the truth.
But Glenn, I knew that's what he was going to do, so that's why I had to come. We got to get it out. Look.
Yeah. I'm glad we're in the same room.
I hope he's watching, Glenn.
I don't. I plan on going all around UK gyms next year, training and get them if I bump into him. Devastating.
Oh no, he'd be happy to spar with you.
There we go. So that takes us on then to our next fight. Another one we're all very, very excited for, and one that I think has been a long time coming as well. Paddy Pimblett is going to be facing Luigi Vendramini. Paddy Pimblett, obviously a massive, massive star on the European scene over the last couple of years, a former Cage Warriors champion, and just a great personality in the sport. Really, a guy who just brings a lot inside and outside of the cage. He's got his UFC debut coming up on Saturday. And another Scouser on the card as well. The third one of the night. Glenn, I'll come to you first on this one. Paddy Pimblett. Well, what's your take on it?
If anyone can take the light off Darren Till, it's Paddy Pimblett. He's going to do something, and he's going to just get in Till's head, just to remind him he's not the only guy who fights for Liverpool. But I've been excited right on this. Right, I did loads of research or call it like today. I've hardly written anything down because I know what I'm going to say. Like, Paddy's not going to go out there and be like, what's going on here now? It's not going to be like a crisp, solid display. He's going to go out to finish or do some flying armbar or something. He's not going to go out there.
Oh no!
Has Glenn just vanished?
This is the one that he's been so excited to talk about.
So for anyone who's watching, Glenn Williams has been absolutely buzzing for this Paddy Pimblett fight. Couldn't wait to speak on it, and then he vanishes midway through. I think we're getting him back. Let's have a look.
I'm
there
back
he is.
What happened then?
I think the excitement got to your Wi-Fi.
I got excited and somebody said, tap my Wi-Fi, kicked me off. Sorry, Mod. Anyway, back to Paddy. It's not going to be like a solid, tight, crisp display. He's going to go to make a statement. Expect flying armbars, or I don't even know how that guy beat. If I was a fan of the other guy, Luigi, I wouldn't know how he beat Paddy. I wouldn't know how to be able to give him a game plan to beat Paddy. You put Paddy on his back and he's going to throw up legs. You stand a distance. He's going to throw weird stuff to try and clip him or flying stuff, because he knows if he gets taken down off a flying knee and he's on his back, he's comfortable. So I don't know how the other guy beats Paddy.
What do you make of the opponent, Luigi? Glenn, I mean, he's only had a couple of fights in the UFC. I think he's lost one, won one maybe, or lost one, won one, lost two.
Yeah,
he's not. I think I thought he lost.
He's 1 and 2 in the UFC.
Yeah, is he? Yeah, and there wasn't one win head kick KO.
I think
it
was like
one was head kick and one was majority. I'm not sure about the third one, but again, he's just like he's going to be a Neely man. He's got tight boxing. He got the fight I watched back earlier and I enjoyed it, he was shooting for takedowns and the guy was stuffing him all the time. If he does manage to, I think Paddy will take a takedown and then be comfortable fighting him off his back. He looked as if he had good control on the floor. He was passing. His ground and pound was decent, but I just don't think decent is going to be good enough to keep Paddy down. And I think Paddy will be comfortable on off his back against him.
Yeah, good prediction there, Glenn.
But-
Kate, do you know
but-
this one?
Oh.
Oh, go on, Glenn.
But he did come alive in the third round and was like really explosive and aggressive. So if he's like that in the first round of Paddy, that would be an absolute electric fight. But if he comes out and he's tight and tries being, tries not to throw caution to the wind, then I think Paddy will play with him. But if he comes out looking for the win early, then we could be in for a hell of a fight.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I think that might be the case. I think he's going to come out of the blocks. And this is why I think he's going to come out of the blocks. I think his striking is probably a little bit better than Paddy's from what I've seen. Not much in it. I think he's got an edge in the striking, and you might sort of have these half entanglements where Paddy takes a shot to grab hold, try and throw something up, and yeah, I think that's going to be a very, very exciting first round. And I agree with you on there. Actually, I think it's a good fight. I think it's a closer fight than you're saying, though. Is the only thing.
You say better in striking. I mean, like I was watching striking. His striking looks crisp. He looks tidy. But against somebody as rangy and not so much unorthodox as Paddy, I don't think you can be like that. You then need to be much better and crisper and beating him to the punch. I think Paddy's going to be bigger than him as well. I think he's going to be longer than him.
Paddy's very big he was a lightweight champion and a featherweight. No, sorry, he was the featherweight champion and fought lightweight, but he's very, very big. He's huge for that weight class. So I think he's definitely not going to give up much in size for any lightweights on the card. So yeah, I think he might be a little bit bigger and a bit longer as well. So I don't know if it's just that kind of Paddy Pimblett effect, Katie, but there's just something about him that you just want to watch him fight. Wherever it's against, whether he's a favourite or underdog, you just want to watch him, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. And like we quite often talk about people being daunted by their first UFC fight, and 1,000,000% that will not be Paddy. Like, he's used to selling out arenas by himself and having the crowd buzzing off their nut. Like, I bet he never expected his UFC debut for there to be like however many the Apex holds, like, or they're selling tickets for at the moment. Like, it will be nothing compared to what he's used to. And even in interviews, he heaps pressure on himself by talking about how good he is. And like, he was on the Bisping podcast, just like saying that he would destroy Conor and he's this and he's that. And, like most people, you're thinking before your first UFC fight, like, would you, you're going to look a real div if you get like beat. But he just thrives under that pressure. The only thing I would say, though, is it's really hard between the time he's had out of the cage and sometimes the level of opponent that Cage Warriors have got for him. Like, it's hard to know where he will fit into, like, the level in the UFC. Like, he is UFC level, but where? Like, is he... We're going to find out. But I'm not... He's been out so much in the last few years, had so many injuries. I'm absolutely buzzing because there was a time with his hand where he was out so long. I think he seemed depressed every time we saw him, and it was like, is he definitely going to come back? Is he going to be the same? So I'm absolutely buzzing for him that he's got this moment and opening the main card, and it's going to be amazing.
Can I just say one thing before we go to Kieran's comment? Can you imagine? I know it's probably a good way off at the moment, right? But can you imagine Paddy gets like some spectacular win? Conor McGregor, Paddy Pimblett in Liverpool, like it's a long way off. I'm not saying it's a bit of a reach there. I admit that, but can you imagine that the hype that would make in Liverpool?
Anfield won't be big enough.
It would be a hell of a night, wouldn't it? That's a bit of a kind of a dream match up there, but that would be a cool one. And yeah, I see Kieran is saying, don't underestimate Paddy's striking. He's trained at Bad Company Muay Thai with Liam Harrison and Joe Craven in past fight camps. Yeah, it
definitely
Paddy's
looked
a
improved, didn't it? In his last fight, it definitely looked improved.
He did, to be fair. I just feel like from what I've seen of him, that is his weaker area. You know, he's so good.
It is, for sure.
He's so good in grappling. He's so dynamic with it as well, the way he jumps on submissions. But on the feet, he's not got that same sort of dynamism, or at least he hasn't shown it. I mean, like you said, he's been out for a little while, and you would have to assume, you know, getting ready to make your UFC debut, you will have done a lot of work on that and done a lot of work in all areas. So I definitely think we're going to see, going back to what you said, Katie, I think we're going to see a better Paddy than what we've seen in Cage Warriors. And yeah, do you know what? I think this is going to be a wild matchup. I think Paddy's going to be, you know, really going 100 mile an hour with this guy, and Luigi as well. I see him coming out of the blocks, and do you know what? This is the fight. I'm saying this, a Welsh guy. This is the fight I'm most looking forward to on that card. So yeah, let's get some predictions. Katie, what are you going for?
Oh, I'm going Paddy. Oh God, I'm going to go Paddy by submission. I can't pick a round.
Yeah, Glenn.
If Paddy don't take his back early, I'm going to go for a Paddy with a sub off his back.
Okay.
Either takes his back and rear nakeds him early, or he ends up on his back and throws legs up.
Okay. So you're going for a sub then, yeah?
Paddy subby the first or second round.
Okay, buddy. I'm going to go for a Paddy Pimlet decision. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Paddy Pimlet decision. I think if you can get hold of him a couple of times, he's going to take him down. Maybe it's going to be a case of Luigi going for a takedown on him and getting swept. I think anything sort of on the ground, Paddy Pimlet, you know, really racks up points, and I think he'll win 2 rounds to 1. That's how I see this one going. So yeah, that's my prediction for this. But again, we're all on the same card there, on the same page there with three Paddy Pimlets. So best luck to Paddy Pimlets.
Chris Gadden's going for Paddy by headlock, and Miles Barrington says Paddy sub early in round 1 as well. So clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Can I throw it
as well?
Can I throw it out there and say I won't bet against Paddy subbing him on his feet, because that guy's taking offence is half decent. So Paddy, you know, Paddy's with his backs against the cage. He loves jumping and doing all this crazy stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if he pulls a mental sub up the bag while he's on his feet.
It'd be great to see.
He was talking about going for a flying triangle when he was on Bisping as well. We know he's got one before.
It wouldn't surprise me if he jumps on his back or standing up and just squeezes his neck. Like, that's the type of fight that is. Let's be honest. It's not going to be boring, is it? It's not going to be boring.
No, it's never. Well, no, it never is really, is it? With Paddy. So yeah, we look forward to that one. And this takes us on a little bit further down the card then to the 4th and final scouser on the card. Paddy's training partner, someone we all absolutely love in the UK as MMA fans. Molly McCann, she's going to be facing Ji Yeon Kim. I don't know if I pronounced that right, so apologies if it's wrong. But yeah, we've got Moll. She's obviously taken a couple of losses recently. An absolute sort of staple for British MMA for the women. She really has been flying the flag the last couple of years, both in the UFC and Cage Warriors. Katie Hunter, I know you've sort of spoken to Molly quite a lot over the last couple of years. You've followed her very closely as well. What do you see for her coming up this weekend?
I think this is a really, really good matchup. Kim's background's boxing as well, and I think it's going to be a war. Like we've talked about the Paddy one not being boring, but I think this is going to be the girls' fight to watch. And I thought Ariane Lipsky was further up on the main card. I don't know if she's still on there, but like I felt like Molly should be in that position. Because I do think that this is going to be the women's fight to watch on the card. But yeah, you spoke there about her 2 recent losses, and she's so loved by the UFC, and her style's so exciting, and even the commentators just can't get enough of her when she's on there, and her kind of tough fighting spirit and her heart. I don't think she's in the same position as a lot of people who are on 2 losses. I just can't see them cutting her, whatever was to happen. And I think that takes a bit of the pressure off. And I know Molly, when she's facing adversity, she just knuckles down and works even harder. And I don't know what girls she's trained with in this camp, but her, she's got a great stable of bantamweight boys there, like the high level Cage Warriors boys, Nathan Fletcher, Liam Gittins, Adam Wilson, all there training with her every day. She looks phenomenal. Like, she looks so happy and healthy, and she's landed in Vegas already. I know some of them aren't out there, so she should be properly acclimatized, because Kim lives in Vegas and trains at Syndicate. So she obviously has got the benefit of that. So it's gonna be a really exciting fight. I can't see past a Molly win for this one. I know she's been working on all areas of her game, but I think it will be a stand-up only fight, to be honest, unless she thinks that the striking's cancelling each other out and she'll have the advantage on the ground.
Yeah, do you know what? I actually agree with you on there. I think Maul's got that boxing sort of background as well, which I think will serve her really well in this fight, to get on the inside and throw some shots. But like you said, I'm not 100% familiar with Kim, but I've seen all of Molly's fights, and one thing I know about her is she's got that fighting spirit, hasn't she? And I think, even though, like you said, I do agree with you, I think she's not sort of on the chopping block if she loses. I think that just means she comes out and is not afraid to try things. She's not afraid to throw hands. She's not afraid to throw kicks. She's not afraid to go for a takedown. I think that really does kind of take the pressure off her. Kind of feeling that, because I don't see any chance they cut her, and I think that actually, with the hard work, is going to bring the best Molly we've seen. So and she's fought hard fights as well. Like, all the people she's lost to, none of them have been easy fights. They've been very, very difficult opponents. So she's not sort of lost to substandard opponents either. She's fought very, very high standards, and like I said, I think that carries over into this one, and I think she gets the job done. I actually think she might get I think she might ground and pound this one. I don't know why. I kind of feel that happening. Probably be completely wrong, because my predictions are always wrong. But in terms of the result, I'm definitely going for Molly. So yeah, hopefully Molly as well. And I kind of want to feed this back in as well. Those guys are so close, like Paddy Pimblett, Molly.
They are.
I feel like them sort of hyping each other through training, having the camp together. When they perform on the same cards, they traditionally do very well together in Cage Warriors. They haven't done that for a while now, so I think having that back together is really going to sort of pull them together for this card, and they'll both do well. So that's my sort of little bit on that. Glenn, I can see you're ready to get something in there, buddy.
Chris Fishgold was from that gym as well, didn't he? Have you been released then?
Yeah, he has, yeah. He's fighting on a mad card coming up that's like Pride Rules. Yeah, that's Sparta.
I thought so. I've seen it. I thought
so. The first 10 minutes, the first round is 10 minutes long, and head stomps, soccer
ground
kicks
strikes
to the head, going like Pride Rules for 10 minutes, and then the second round is a 5-minute normal MMA round.
So what promotion is this, Katie? Sorry.
It's called Sparta, the card, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have to have a look into that. It sounds very entertaining, doesn't it?
He's got a really tough opponent as well.
Apparently, you got to have 5 pints before you go in, though. So up there, it's like my local on the weekend.
Yeah. No, I don't know what. Where is this card going down, Katie? Do you know?
I don't know where. No.
I'm not sure. Sorry. I saw it and thought, ouch, and then moved on.
I think there's a Welsh boy called Rob Cunningham fighting on it.
Really?
He is on it. Yeah, you're right.
Charlie Miller, I think. Oh,
I don't know. I remember seeing his post that he's on it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Pride Rules, Glenn?
If you want to call yourself a fighter, fight the old school rules, isn't it? But I think MMA is for martial artists. That's why they brought rules in. So there's a difference between a martial artist and a fighter. So if you want to call yourself a fighter, go and do something like that up to you. If you want to call yourself a mixed martial, right now, nothing. But I got to be honest, I wouldn't do that. I've trained too hard to learn a martial arts, so in my opinion, no, I wouldn't do that. That's for people in the pub who go, yeah, I'll fight them. Well, I'm gonna have a go, son. There's rules in place for a reason.
But it's definitely entertaining, Glenn.
People are gonna call me right. People are gonna call me right pussy late. You know, going, what happened to you, bloody hell? But yeah, I think the rules there for a reason. No, if you want to learn martial arts, this is why the rules are there. If you don't want to learn them and you think you're a tough guy, then go and do that sport.
Yeah, no, it's just a fair point. But you know what? I'm definitely gonna watch Chris Fishgold fighting that card. I can't help it. I'm gonna be watching it. So yeah, sorry, Glenn.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, I'm going to watch it. I think it'll be entertaining. But
he don't mind watching it. He just
yeah.
doesn't want to
We'll
fight.
catch me signing
I
up.
don't want to fight either, Glenn, in that. So
Mind though, my old nickname used to be Glenn the Edge for a reason, so I wouldn't mind having a crack, like.
What's your prediction for the Molly fight, Glenn? Just before we move on from on.
Again, I haven't really looked into the other girl, but I think Molly got too much arse and guts. I think if in her head she is near the chopping board, I think she'll come out and she'll make a statement, because she got that attitude about her, never give up, and you can't teach art. So I think she'll win on that own.
Yeah. So yeah, big shout out to Molly. We can't wait to see that one. And yeah, that's our lone female. Our lone female on this card, and I think Lipsky has actually been moved. Looking for what Miles is saying. I'm looking at the card; she's not on there anymore either. So I think it does look like that Lipsky fight is not on the card anymore. So that is the only female fight on the card as well. And yeah, that takes us into our last British fighter on the card, I believe, and he's none other than Abbott Leary's finest, Jack the Tank Shaw. He's going to be fighting Ludwig Sholonian. I hope I pronounced that name right. I know he was on the Ultimate Fighter. He had, I think it was the fight of the series on TUF 29, at a real absolute banger with the guy who won it in the end. And this is a big fight for Jack. I think he was meant to fight Nurmagomedov. Then he was meant to fight a guy who was, I think he was LFA champion, and he pulled. And then obviously we've come to this opponent. So I mean, a big fight for Jack. I think personally, knowing sort of following Jack's career so closely, seeing how calm and how sort of methodical he is in the cage, I think he's a very tough guy to take on 10 days notice. And you know, I got to give respect to Ludwig for taking it on that time. He'll definitely come in and have a crack because he's a wild guy. But I think the accuracy Jack has with his strikes, with his takedown defense, with his submissions, I really see Jack doing the business, and again, a spectacular finish in this fight. To be honest, I think he's going to drag him down for 2 rounds, and in the third, I think he's going to knock him out in this one or sub him. So that's my take on this one. It's like I said, we're always 100% behind Jack. We've sort of followed him from when he was an amateur with MMA UK. Seen what he can do time and time again. I don't know. For me, I can't see this one being any different. Katie, I'll come to you next, because you've watched a lot of Jack, well, all the Jack fights as well. Even against teammates and things like that. What's your take on him going into this fight against Ludwig on 10 days notice?
It's really hard for me to ever pick against Jack Shaw, to be honest. Yeah. Now, like, I never would do it unless he fights one of my team again. I will say I am a bit gutted that the Saeed Nurmagomedov fight fell out, and it is a bit of a shame. But Jack's such a professional and so well-rounded. Like, he's, a change of opponent isn't going to phase him. It's just, for us, it's a little bit gutting, because we would have liked to see him put the win against, that name and somebody that everybody knows everywhere. So, it's a shame, but I can't see anything other than him getting the job done. And if anything, maybe in even more emphatic fashion than the last one.
Yeah, my reason for this is I just think, from what I've seen of this other guy, I think he's going to come with absolutely nothing to lose. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at Tank, and that's going to lead. He's going to make a mistake, and I think you only got to make one mistake against him, and he'll find a way to capitalize. I don't know, what's your take on that one, Glenn?
So I'll just touch back on the Saeed Nurmagomedov fight. I think that would have been that would have sent Jack's name right up there. Even though he's no relation to Khabib, just the name alone would have helped Jack propel him into the top. But you got to feel for him. I'd love to know how many pullouts Jack have had in his career.
Yeah.
You remember Cage Warriors days? He was pull out after pull out after pull out. So he's probably just used to it. It's just a thing for him. I do think if he wanted to, professional, the boys are up in Shakey's. There'll be a game plan. He'll forward to a tee and get it done. They like. But if he wanted to, the way that guy walks forward and into stuff, I think Jack could showcase his. He could do whatever he likes to him. I don't know. Again, he's not going to take him lightly. He's still going to go in there if he's fighting the best fight there possible. But I think he's just so much better than him everywhere, like in every department.
Yeah, I think there's definitely there's going to be a slight worry in Jack's mind for this one because this guy he does like to throw. Do you know what I mean? He does get wild in there. So I think Jack will definitely want to feel him out and not get caught with something stupid. But I think once he kind of feels that range, feels the pace he set, and I think it won't take long for him to sort of gather what he needs to make that decision of time a takedown, time a knee, time a punch, and I do see a finish for Jack in this one, and I think it's I think that's probably, like you said, with the Nurmagomedov fight, had two undefeated guys. That's a really a pick-up fight, 50-50.
Nurmagomedov wasn't undefeated. He was 14-2, wasn't he?
Oh, I thought he was.
I think I'm pretty sure he lost. The undefeated one was the LFA champion.
Oh, right.
Wrong, check, Katie.
Yeah, no, I think you are right, Glenn. Actually, I think you are right on that one. It was the LFA champion.
The LFA. He was 9-0, I think. I'm going to call something to add on to what you said. Ludwig and fight the night, etc. I'll fight the series. I reckon they're going to match Tank with Ricky, the winner.
Do you think?
Yeah. I think, it's just, it gets the fans from over here involved because everyone's behind Jack. Everyone who watched Tough out there will be behind Ricky. I think, and I think Ricky is the new breed Tony Ferguson. I think he's just this aura, his UK and all that style. But something I looked into today, I told you earlier, Lou, my thoughts on the IMAF and how important it is for grassroots MMA and stuff. That guy, Ludwig, fought an IMAF, I think it was in 2018, but he made his pro debut in 2015. He had either 4 or 5 pro fights before he fought in an amateur tournament. So he's a bit of a sneak him. He's a snake. So when he gets back to him, you're a snake. But that's strange. I couldn't work that out. Why, how he was allowed to compete in an amateur tournament after turning pro. But yeah, that was my Sledge's boring fact for the day.
Well, no, that's a bit of investigative journalism there, Glenn. So don't do yourself down. Like I said, as far as I'm aware, you're not allowed to go back to amateurs.
When me and the boys was out there was lots of Dagestani. Well, not Dagestanis. They was fighting out of I can't think of the name of it now. Not Russia.
Ukraine.
Where did Mo go fight out of? Bahrain. There's lots of boys from Bahrain who would win the tournaments and had pro fights and stuff. Only like 1 or 2, but then was been held back then for IMAFs. There was a couple of countries doing it. But yeah, so naughty.
Yeah, no.
I still think if he could have 10 pro fights and Tank still would have beaten him. Yeah,
I think what I think he actually is 9-1, isn't he, or 9-1-1, something like that. So he's got a decent record, but I suppose when you say it like that, it's tough to know what his record actually means if that is the case, Glenn. So, I mean, one thing we do know is that Jack has got 12-0 amateur fights and 14-0 pro fights. So he's sort of working his way up there in experience now. And I don't think there's many sort of records he's going to look at and fear at this point now. He's sort of faced all sorts of opponents. Ludwig's in this one. He's, like I said, he's got a chance. He's going to come out swinging. He's going to come out fast. But I think that ultimately is going to be his downfall because I think Jack will find out quickly what he needs to do and put it on him. So I'm going to go for a Jack Shaw stoppage. I'm gonna play it safe and go with Jack Shaw 3rd round stoppage. Katie, what about you?
I'm going with a Jack Shaw sub. I think he's going to wear on him. Like you said, he could go for a takedown or some kind of mad striking stuff, and I see Jack taking the back and maybe a rear naked choke or maybe a bit of ground and pound, and Jack by sub. I don't know whether to go round 2 or 3. I'll go 2.
Yeah, favorite. I'm gonna go 3. Glenn, what are we going for, buddy?
I'm not going to pick a round because that guy is clearly tough. Jack's IQ is brilliant for him, so he'll work out how to grind him out. So, you know, I could say later rounds, and Jack will go out and just take his back straight away like he can. But I'm just going to go Jack Shaw win. I don't know where or when.
Yeah, fair play. Good. A good on the fence decision there, Glenn, from you.
Yeah. Oh, while we're on about Jack Shaw now, we mentioned a few like Tom, Darren Till, Paddy. You know, like out of all the Brits now, Till is obviously leading the way in terms of stardom. Paddy got a massive following. Jack got a huge following in Wales, and it's rising. I wonder which one of them are going to headline their first card other than Darren Till. You know, Tom is on his way to big things. Paddy's obviously he's going to headline Anfield one day, just a matter of when.
I'd say Tom at the minute is definitely the leader, and
they love a heavyweight as well, don't they? They love a heavyweight high up the card.
Yeah, I think he's.
But we build in him, are we? It's starting to grow.
Jack a close second.
Yeah.
I think if Jack does something spectacular on the weekend, there's got to be big names for him in the future, and I think he's ready for that now. He is one guy.
I tell you who'll be headlining the next card. It'll be Arnold Allen. He's just injured at the moment.
Yeah.
Arnold's going to have a title shot before anyone else, and he could easily headline a London card.
If we're talking all UK though, I think I'd also have to put. I think I'd put Leon Edwards in front of Arnold.
I don't think the UFC are behind Leon that much to headline a card. I think the type of people who would put him co-main. There's a type of shot being like a big seller
in London.
They don't seem, know what I mean? They don't seem like they're on his side. Like,
and what about? I think Jojo Calderwood's got a shot as well. You know, she's not far off the top of her division, is she?
I thought she lost her fight last fight.
She did. She lost her last one, didn't she?
But she's still top 5, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, I think she might have dropped outside the top 5. She's still top 10.
So she's got to be close, like a big win. She's pretty close to the top as well.
I tell you one thing: if Leon does fight Masvidal, then regardless who's on the card, that's going to be main event.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But the UK are growing now, and not just fighters, they got some stars coming up. So
I just wanted to, before we went as well, say like Lavone Murphy should have been on this card and his opponent's still on it. Absolutely gutted that his visa didn't arrive in time, so he's not on this one. I'd love to see his fight. Well, that guy's fighting this time, so it might not be that one, but love to see that fight move to the Abu Dhabi card that Jan Blachowicz is headlining at the end of October. Like, that would be awesome. And it's just annoying that we should have had Nathaniel Wood on this card as well, but he got injured, and like desperate to see him back in there. Arnold's still struggling with his hand, and Corey McKenna as well is out of her fight. So I just wanted to give all those guys a shout out and say we can't wait till we're talking about their fights whenever they'll be.
Yeah, definitely.
And we almost went the full show without mentioning Mason. Mason's fighting soon as well.
Mason's fighting soon. Yeah, he's got obviously the rematch from his last fight where he obviously unfortunately ended it with an eye poke. But yeah, that's going to be a big fight as well. I think he's going to get the job done on that, and he's another guy that's got so much potential. The way he fights, the charisma he's got, he's a guy that a big win could catapult him, because he's the kind of guy, he only wants big fights as well. I think if you offered him, like a top 5 opponent, jump at it on short notice or something like that. He's that kind of guy. He wants it so badly. I really feel like he's got a long way to go. So, you know what, we've not mentioned Mason Jones in that conversation about headlining a card, but
yeah,
it seemed like a long way. But you know what? I think if he puts on an absolute show, he's the kind of guy that would step in late notice and end up doing something. So he's a bit of a dark horse there as well, I think.
Yeah, correct.
And let me just quickly finish off this card because that is the last of our UK fighters. But below Jack Shaw, we've got Julian Orozza versus Charles Jourdain. Julian, obviously, we all know from fighting Paddy previously in Cage Warriors and obviously from being on the Ultimate Fighter as well. We've got Dalka. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, so apologies to everyone watching. Lungambula against Baracolt. And we've got Jonathan Martinez versus Marcelo Rojo. So that's the end of those cards. Obviously, if we go through all those fights, we'll probably be here until 11 o'clock. So we're going to keep it just for the UK guys tonight. And yeah, obviously, we want to wish them all the best for their bouts because, you know, it's great for us when they win. We get to interview them after and, you know, really sort of get to delve into their camps and their lifestyles. So we love doing that. And Katie, last words. What are you thinking about the card for the weekend?
I just want to wish them all the very best of skill. They've all got it in the locker to come out victorious. Imagine if we had all the UK fighters winning. That'd just be absolutely insane because it absolutely breaks my heart and ruins my weekend when they don't win. So I'm so pleased it's on at a great time and we can all enjoy it with a glass of wine and a beer and just really get behind them. So just best of skill to all of you. Safe travels. Everybody pass your COVID tests and wrap yourselves in bubble wrap until Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. And Glenn Sledge Williams, the only guy to predict against a British fighter on this card. Modestas Bukauskas, you've picked to get clipped. Not that I want to bring it back up.
I told you not to come to me in that one. Bad egg.
Final thoughts on this card, Glenn.
Yeah, I can't wait to again. Shame it isn't in London, but at least it's in our time, isn't it? So I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Any last words, guys? So we'll call it a day there, is it?
Do you think they're going to try and get one in the UK soon after it, or are they going to put it on the back burner?
I think they might go on the
wait
back
till
burner.
next year. Yeah.
I think they'll target like next March for the earliest because that's the usual London schedule is in March. And
Fight day.
I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult to say. I mean, the COVID cases seem to be going up again now. So you know, who'd bet against having another lockdown over Christmas? You know, it's kind of scary. And for the UFC as well, who they've got to take a risk in setting up events, paying deposits, arranging things just for it all to be cancelled. When they can do it in America, I don't think they take the risk until it's a guarantee that everyone from everywhere can come. I don't know what do you think about that, Katie?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think next March at the earliest.
Maybe even the end of next year. Perhaps that's being a bit glum, but I don't think the UFC are in a great rush. They've got it good in the States at the moment, haven't they, as well? Everyone's eager to go to the cards because they haven't been to events for so long.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lou, if they do have another lockdown, Sledge's grappling dungeon isn't closing.
No,
you should keep that on the down low.
Yeah. I'll refer the police. Refer the police to this video.
Vaccinated. Yeah.
I'll be stood there with him arresting Glenn in his mountain.
Yeah. Oh, I won't be able to. The thought of another lockdown is bloody depressing.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't come. I mean, I just sort of thinking, from a UFC perspective, I don't want everyone to go out there now and say Lewis Smith said there's another lockdown, but from a UFC perspective, it can happen, right? Like, one decision from, some of the guys at the top of the chain, and these things happen. We're back for another 3 weeks, and a UFC card gets cancelled. I just don't see them risking it on something that could potentially happen.
Yeah.
So there we are. Anyway, guys,
and on that cheery note,
we've got a great card this weekend, guys. A lot of British fighters we want to all do well, so we'll try and keep ending on a slightly positive note. And yeah, until next time, I will see you all soon. Cheers, guys.
Been a pleasure, Lou. Thank you very much. Bye, all.